Good morning, everyone. I woke up at 6:30 today. When I managed to get up early, I honestly feel so good. My goal is to finish everything I need to do in the morning so I can spend the afternoon doing things I actually want to do. I went to the gym and did some light stretching and a bit of core work. Waking up early isn't easy, but once you keep it up for a few days, it slowly becomes a habit and feels much easier. By the way, for these stretches and exercises, I just follow along with some YouTube videos. I used to play basketball, so I've always liked exercise, but stretching, I used to skip it all the time. I'm still not great at it, and I'm quite stiff, to be honest. 体が硬い means your body is stiff or not very flexible. The opposite expression is 体が柔らかい, which means your body is flexible. Are you quite stiff or are you flexible? How can I become more flexible too? Please let me know. After that, I had a shower, dried my hair, put on sunscreen and properly started the day. One of the reasons I try to wake up at 6:30 is because I like going to the gym before the sun rises. In Okinawa, the cherry blossoms bloom earlier than in mainland Japan. So when I go for a walk around this time of year, I can see sakura trees. It really lifts my mood. When I get home, I decide what to have for breakfast depending on how I feel. If I'm hungry, I try to eat things that are good for my gut. Miso soup, natto, kimchi, grilled mackerel, kiwi, oats, that sort of thing. If I'm not very hungry, I'll keep it light with almonds, oats, soy milk, protein powder and blueberries. And then have a bigger lunch later. I only started eating like this a few months ago, so it might change again. I tend to go with the flow. But since I began focusing on gut-friendly foods, I genuinely feel like my skin has improved. It really makes me realize how important it is to look after your gut. That day, I had soba for lunch. I love noodles, but I try to choose buckwheat soba rather than wheat noodles. By the way, these noodles are made with 100% buckwheat. The percentage of buckwheat can vary depending on the brand, so I recommend checking before you buy. I just throw in whatever vegetables I have. I actually don't keep a knife at home, so I just use kitchen scissors to cut all my ingredients. Pour verse mensuyu and eat it together with natto. Just mix everything together. Sometimes I use the sauce that comes with the natto, sometimes I skip it and mix it with kimchi instead. I usually try not to use too much sauce because it can be quite high in salt. By the way, some of you might be wondering I barely serve my food on plates. Since living alone, I've been thinking about how to get rid of unnecessary chores. I don't want loads of washing up, so I often eat straight from the pot or the bowl. I think that's quite unusual in Japan, so some of you might be shocked. I actually don't know anyone around me who eats straight from the container without putting the food on the plate. What about you? I do have plates, but I hardly ever use them. I usually only use them when someone comes over. When I say お皿に移す, put it on a plate, I just mean moving the finished food onto a plate. But お皿に盛り付ける, placed up, means arranging the food nicely so it looks good. Today my toilet drain seemed blocked, so I contacted the management company One thing that's been quite challenging since I started living on my own is managing the flat. Whenever something goes wrong, I have to get in touch with someone to sort it out, and arranging the schedule can be a bit of a hassle. After breakfast, I usually spend about 2 hours working on YouTube. Well, that depends on my mood. Sometimes I end up watching Netflix and suddenly it's the afternoon. Since I subscribe to Netflix, I've become quite obsessed with anime. I probably watch it every day. I should really cut back a bit. Today, since I'm filming a vlog, I decided to study instead of doing YouTube work. I'm planning to use those 2 morning hours to study German and Taiwanese. German is quite difficult, isn't it? When you live in Japan, your brain is constantly thinking in Japanese. So studying a completely different language like German can be demotivating at times. But recently, when I've been working in cafes, I've heard some German speaking English. And just hearing them reminded me why I want to learn. It gave me a boost of motivation. One day I would love to film a vlog in German. And this might surprise some of you, I've decided to start learning Taiwanese from today. The reason is that I'm traveling to Taiwan to visit a friend. We met when I was living in Korea, so we usually speak Korean together. But this time, I want to surprise her by speaking Taiwanese. She's also a language teacher, so I'm really looking forward to chatting about languages with her. Just thinking about it makes me excited. As a Japanese person, I don't find Chinese characters too intimidating, so I think we might have a slight advantage when learning Taiwanese. Today was my first day, so I studied each language for 1 hour. I hope I can keep sharing my language journey with you. And if you're studying German or Taiwanese and have any tips, please let me know. After that, I had a coffee and enjoyed some Netflix or YouTube. I usually drink instant coffee at home. In summer, I add ice, but in winter, I often don't bother. When I drink coffee, I tend to use a straw. I feel like it helps prevent my teeth from getting stained. Sometimes there's a bit of foam that appears when I make it though. Do you know why that happens? Recently, I've been really into melon pan. My favourite is the one from Lawson, but today I picked up one from 7-Eleven. The one from 7-Eleven has a slightly harder top, so the texture is quite enjoyable. Eating while watching something I love is pure bliss. Recently, I've been hooked on Korean dramas and shows, so I've been watching a lot in Korean. In German, I've been enjoying Love is Blind. It's fascinating because you get a glimpse into how people from different countries think. I actually think it's great for language learners. Also, keep in touch with the English. One thing I often do is read aloud. It helps with reading skills, pronunciation, and even training the muscles in your mouth. Whenever I come across a word I don't know, I try to look it up properly, make sure I understand it, and then read it aloud. At the same time, I check the phonetic symbols as well, so that I'm taking it in with the correct pronunciation. Languages are easy to forget if you don't use them, aren't they? So I try to make a conscious effort to stay in touch with foreign languages as much as possible. When I'm speaking, the thing that happens most often is that I just can't think of the word I want to say. Later, the plumbers came to fix the blockage. I'm so grateful they travelled all the way. They were kind and very helpful, And thankfully, everything was sorted that day. Apparently, the problem was that my toilet paper doesn't dissolve easily. They told me to switch to one that breaks down more quickly. But honestly, why do they even sell toilet paper at the supermarket that doesn't dissolve properly? It's a mystery. After a while, I got hungry again, and before I knew it, it was already dark outside. I try to eat until I'm about 80% full, but I always end up eating quite a lot. I mean, if tomorrow isn't guaranteed, you might as well eat what you fancy, right? At home, I mostly cook chicken breast or sasami like tenderloin. It's cheap, healthy, and great value for money. My cooking style is very simple. As long as it's healthy and tasty, I'm happy. It doesn't always look pretty, but that's fine. In Korea, it was normal to eat straight from the pot, but in Japan and Germany, the two countries I've lived in, it's not common. My friends are always surprised. But honestly, fewer dishes to wash. It's brilliant. After this, I'll review what I studied in the morning. If I'm not feeling motivated, I'll watch content in the language I'm learning. It's still good listening practice, and it feels stress-free and enjoyable. In the evening, I teach Japanese online. I actually really like that time because if I haven't seen anyone all day, it's my chance to speak to someone. Once that's finished, I get ready for bed and call it a day. I try not to look at my phone before sleeping, attempt to read a book instead. But I'm not perfect, so sometimes I leave my phone far away from the bed to stop myself from reaching for it. Anyway, that was my day. Otsukare for getting through today. Let's do our best again tomorrow. Bye for now.